Hi, welcome to Compelling Conversations where law meets business. I'm Dara Rosenbaum, a founding partner and attorney at Rosenbaum Taylor in New York. My own journey has shown me the power of learning from others, whether from their successes or from their failures, and that's what led me to start this show. In each episode, my goal is to have a compelling conversation with a business leader, business owner, or other inspiring person who will share with you their experiences, their advice, and their perspective. I hope you'll learn from them along with me. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and more. Today, I am thrilled to have with us Cameron Normand. Cameron is the co-owner and editor-in-chief of Step Family Magazine, host of the Stepmom Diaries podcast, and founder and CEO of This Custom Life, where she provides stepmoms with tools and advice to help them manage their blended family lives. She is a certified step-parent coach, the creator of the Blended Family Formula for Stepmom Success, and author of the Stepmom's Gratitude Journal. Her work has appeared in Business Insider, UpJourney, the Today Parenting Team, and Stepmom Magazine, among others. Cameron received her BA from the University of South Carolina and her JD from Emory University School of Law. By day, she is a corporate politico in the Washington, D.C. area and serves on several nonprofit boards. She was also named one of Washington Business Journal's Women Who Mean Business. You can follow Cameron on Instagram and Facebook or explore her website to stay up to date with all of her resources and offerings. So greetings, Cameron. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I love hearing about how business owners got started. What's your origin story with your stepmom business?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working in corporate America for a number of years, and so have a business background, but certainly not with my own business. And it really started when I became a stepmom 5 years ago. I acquired, is acquired the right word when you, I always say to people, it's actually that I found my Prince Charming and he came with 4 kids. There's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
So I became a stepmom 5 years ago, 4 kids ranging in ages at the time from like 8 to 15. And realized when I got into it, I mean, I thought I knew what to expect. I knew I was marrying a guy with kids. I'd been a stepdaughter. So I kind of, I was familiar with blended family dynamics and all that kind of stuff. But I realized when I got into step family life and being a stepmom that I had no idea what I was doing. And I made a million mistakes. And look, I'm a lawyer by background, so I'm good at research. I am type A all the way. And I looked hard to try and figure out where I could locate a manual for how to be a good stepmom. And it turns out that doesn't exist. And so I kind of created my own formula to deal with the issues that we were coming across. And that's sort of how this was formed. I figured that if I was having a hard time locating the tools to deal with all of the stuff that came up in stepmom life, and I'm pretty well equipped to look for tools that, probably a lot of other women were facing the same challenges. And so I decided to do something about it and see if I could pull together some resources to help other women. And so far I've been able to, and I love it. It's been, one of the most fulfilling things I've done, and challenging and rewarding and all of that kind of stuff.
Wonderful. So when you started This Custom Life, what were your first steps along the way toward creating the business that you have now?
Well, it's funny. I was hesitant to do a lot of writing about stepmom life. I was a little nervous, to put my story out there. I didn't want to talk about the kids or put them out there, or, any of the dynamics around my husband and his ex and all that kind of stuff. And so I sort of resisted jumping into the stepmom experience at first. And so the first thing I did was kind of set up the website and, start populating it with content. But it took me a little while to get comfortable, really talking about my experience. And so it was about a year of writing about different things and, learning how to operate a website, which was definitely not in my skill set. I definitely have exercised a lot of new and different muscles as I've like gone on this journey. Um, but it was getting the website together. And then in the course of that first year, kind of really figuring out that what I had to say to people was a lot more than I thought. And I had to push myself a little bit out of my comfort zone to really be able to help other women.
So did you already know how to start a website? I know you said you didn't know how to run one, but did you know how to create a website when you started?
I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. And it was, it was really interesting because it is something new and I like to learn new things and I enjoy kind of putzing around on new and different things. But it was really frustrating at first because the technology part's really intimidating. And, I mean, I was a late adopter of social media. I was not one of the first people out there on Facebook. I was not one of the first people out there on Instagram. Um, I've had cell phones, but I was a late adopter of the iPhone. I mean, I like technology and I'm pretty, I can adapt to it, but it's definitely not in my comfort zone.
So how did you learn? How did you figure that out when you were creating the website?
I reached out to a couple of people that I knew that had their own online businesses. I asked them what they had done. And I started researching how to do this, how to set it up. I looked at a lot of free resources online. And ultimately I ended up investing in some online courses to figure out, I mean, what does this all mean? And, all of these terms get thrown around when you're talking about the back end of a website and, things like funnels and opt-ins and tripwires and all of this stuff for online businesses. And I'm like, I don't know what all that means. What am I supposed to do with this? So it was almost like a part-time job, just educating myself on like what goes into all of this, the fact that I needed to have an email list and, start communicating with my followers that way. I mean, it was all very foreign and it took me a while to really, understand sort of how to navigate the technology and then also, what I needed to succeed as a small business online.
Now you said you invested in some courses, and we all see those emails all the time. $39.99, sell this, learn this, take this course. How did you decide what was worthwhile and which ones you wanted to take?
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't jump right into the first one I saw. I kind of got to know the online personalities of some of these course instructors. I looked at some of their free resources and it kind of came down to the one I ended up investing in was Elite Blog Academy that Ruth Sukup runs. And, for me, it came down to, I really thought that the stuff that she was putting out there that was free was really good. And then I took a hard look at the curriculum of the course and really, tried to figure out like what it was that I needed to learn and if that course was going to fit into kind of what I needed. Mm-hmm. And she has a soup to nuts program that teaches you how to set up your website, how to communicate with your followers, marketing. That was something I had never done before. And that was a whole new, and I know you've been doing that with your firm. I mean, it's a whole new world,
New world. Mm-hmm. Very true. So what is if you had to describe this custom life, what does it offer? What kind of support does it provide?
So I like to, my tagline is embrace your blended family lives. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes, and the tagline may be a little optimistic. I think sometimes with blended family lives, it's more about surviving on some days. Mm-hmm. But what I offer is to work with stepmoms on whatever they're dealing with. And mm-hmm. I developed the Blended Family Formula, which is the course that I offer. It's a 7-step formula for stepmom success. And I always feel like I have to put the little asterisk there that it is not a formula that means that you will, transform into the best and most loved stepmom in the world. There's no silver bullet for the perfect stepmom life, in the same way that there's no silver bullet for the perfect family life, right? Everybody's family is different. It has its own unique dynamics. But what my formula does, it walks you through the 7 things that you really need to understand in order to deal with the stuff that gets thrown at you every day as a stepmom. So it walks you through building that foundation with your spouse and with your family, walks you through, making sure that your relationship stays a priority, dealing with the ex, which is always, that's like one of the top things I hear from stepmoms about, making sure that you don't forget to take care of yourself, trying to learn how to communicate and deal with the kids. And so all of the stuff that I offer on my website relates to kind of those 7 topics that I teach in my course.
And are you available? Do you do coaching as well, or is all the content on the website?
I do coaching. I don't do much of it. So it's sort of on an as contacted available basis. I enjoy coaching, but just with my schedule between my full-time job and all of the responsibilities.
And 4 kids.
Yeah. And 4 kids. Yeah. With all of that, I have very limited time for coaching, unfortunately, but I do it occasionally.
And who have you leaned on, or what have you leaned on as resources as you've built this custom life?
It's really been, I have made a concerted effort, and I would tell anybody that's getting into any kind of business to do this. I made a concerted effort to get to know other small business owners that were kind of around the same stage I was in online and when I started, and have developed some really close friendships with some of these women and talk to them almost daily about what we're dealing with in our businesses and how we're handling certain challenges and the tools we're using and, what classes we're taking and, all of that kind of stuff. And we'll bounce ideas off each other. And, I think it's such an important part of being an entrepreneur, the ability to, and I hate to call it networking because that makes it sound so clinical, but it's really just, it's building relationships is what it is. And it's building relationships with people who may not be able to do anything for you per se in terms of, growing your business or any of that, but it's really developing, a network of people that you can lean on and people who know what you're going through, because the online business world and the small business world in general, it's hard to understand. You can obviously vent to your spouse, you can vent to your friends, but it's really nice to have like a small group of people that you can lean on that, have been there, done that, same as you,
Are those people who are in a similar space to you, or are there other people with different online businesses?
They have different businesses, and I actually have met them through, I did the Elite Blog Academy course that I mentioned, and I have done a couple of workshops with Ruth, the founder of Elite Blog Academy. And through some of those small workshops have gotten to know other women who have different businesses, different topics, different audiences, but are kind of going through some of the same struggles. And then I've also gotten to know there's a small network of other stepmom online businesses. And I've gotten to know a number of those women, and there's some outstanding, women who are also providing stepmom advice. And that's how I met my business partner with Step Family Magazine, was kind of through that stepmom network.
And how did that opportunity come to you? Did you start Step Family Magazine, or was it already existing?
So it was already existing. This is actually a really great story. Last spring, my now business partner, Beth McDonough, who runs the Inclusive Stepmom, she and I decided to start a Stepmom Summit. And what we really wanted to do, we felt like there was a void in providing really inclusive experts and topics for stepmoms, and just kind of doing something free that anybody could access. And we ended up having thousands of stepmoms sign up. It was in August. It was a virtual summit.
And this was the first one.
This was the first one. It was
That's
amazing.
terrific.
We heard things at the end of it, like, this has been the best 3 days of my life, and this has changed my step family life forever. And just these amazing comments from stepmoms that, got so much out of the experience. But we were able to attract some of the top stepmom experts from around the world to be speakers. And afterwards, a woman who we have worked with in the stepmom world for a while approached us, and she had founded Step Family Magazine and said that she and her partner were ready to take a step back and looking for someone to take over as owners, and asked if she thought that because of what she had seen us do with the summit, she thought Beth and I would be the perfect people to acquire the magazine and take it forward. And I think it took us about 5 seconds to say yes, because we realized it was just an extraordinary opportunity to increase our reach and help even more stepmoms out there and step families.
Now, so in creating this summit, obviously it sounds like a big undertaking. How did you know what to do? How did you know how to start?
Well, so this goes to like really seeking out resources and keeping things easy, right? So we found this resource that a couple of people that we knew had used, and it's a woman who teaches you how to put on online summits, and she
Who knew
structures.
there was such a person?
I know, right? Who knew that was a thing?
Right.
But it is, and we followed her program to a T, and it was so successful. It was a fantastic blueprint, and I think we'll continue to use it going forward. So
it's planned to be an annual thing?
Yeah, we're going to do it again. I think this summer. We have not set firm dates, but it'll probably be in late August, which is when it was last year.
Okay, and will that information be on your website, or where will that information be?
It will. As soon as we have dates finalized, we'll have it on my website, thiscustomlife.com. It'll be on the Stepmom Summit website, which is thestepmomsummit.com. And we'll have it on the magazine website, which is stepfamilymagazine.com. Lots of websites.
Lots of websites. That's wonderful. So other than learning how, or other than kind of being a fish out of water on the website, creating and running a website, what other challenges have you faced building the business?
It's hard. I think one of the things that you really have to overcome as any kind of business owner is imposter syndrome. You're starting something new, maybe you're coming from another career that you've had a lot of success in, as I have done. I've worked for 20 years in something I'm very comfortable in, which is politics, and have had a successful career. And I was doing something brand new. And, I looked around and saw a lot of these online business owners were people that had these, really incredible tech backgrounds that, knew how to set up websites, and they could speak in a language that I did not understand at all. And I think it's probably the same, whether it's an online business or, a brick and mortar business. You've really got to push out of your comfort zone. And the imposter syndrome, I think, is going to happen no matter how successful you've been in other parts of your life. And, that was something I really had to battle was, am I going to be good enough? Do I really know what I'm talking about? I mean, I know I'm a stepmom, but who wants to listen to me? And, I really had to find my voice and develop the confidence to, put things out there that I knew would help people.
Now, when you say imposter syndrome, you're kind of talking about that feeling about like, I'm not sure I belong here, and who am I to be the one to put my, to put my name out there or to put my content out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm pretending that I'm some online business person, but I'm just a girl standing in front of my computer screen. No, but
I like that.
No, but it's you look around at these people who already have established businesses, whether it's in your area or another, and you think, I'm just pretending here, like, surely everybody is going to see that I'm just a fraud and I have no idea what I'm doing. And, and the doubts can creep in, and it can be really dangerous, and I think imposter syndrome can hit you in any part of your life, right? Like I have felt it as a stepmom, certainly, like, why are these kids, when I first became a stepmom, I remember the first time I had to go pick up my youngest from school, and my husband, Craig, was like, yeah, you'll pick him up at this time. Just go to the front desk. He was in like 3rd grade or 4th grade. And I was like, are you sure it's okay? Like, are you sure that they'll let him go with me? And Craig was like, you're his stepmom. Of course they will. And I was like, I don't know. Are you sure? And I was so nervous to pick this kid up from school.
Yeah.
I mean, this child who loves me. And like, he came running into the office. He's like, "Hey, Cammy G," that's what they call me.
Yeah.
And the school didn't give it a second look. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm really a stepmom. I'm really doing this.
Really doing it.
So it was the same thing in business, right? Like you have to just do it in order to do it,
And I'm sure you find that when you talk to other people who are similar places in their business as you are, that they feel that, have felt that it crops up for them too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Every small business owner I've talked to has felt that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's totally normal and common. It's really common, I think.
What's something that surprised you about owning your own business? Because obviously you came out of politics and you weren't owning that in that sense. So,
yeah.
Certainly not.
I think it would run a lot differently if I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily that there was a lot of work because I knew that it would be a lot of work. It was the amount of time that I spent on different things. Mm-hmm. I thought about when I first was starting this business, I was like, I'm going to write all these articles and it's going to be amazing. And I'll have this website and that's all true. But I kind of imagined my life to be creating content for stepmoms. And what it actually looks like is creating content about 40% of the time, maybe 30% of the time, and marketing the rest of the time, and putting yourself out there and, doing podcasts, doing interviews, trying to pitch articles in other publications and figuring out your social media strategy and, all of that kind of stuff. I kind of didn't realize how much of that stuff I would be doing. I thought it was a little more simple. Like I'm going to have this great website and it'll be awesome. Probably the same as if,
It is.
Yeah. But, like if you're starting a brick and mortar business, I mean, I've always fantasized about having like a little gift shop and, all of that stuff. Like, oh, I'll start a gift shop and it'll be amazing. And I'll, sell these really cute things. Well, all of that is true, but you're probably also going to spend a lot of your time marketing the shop and doing, inventory and all the stuff that's not fun, or you don't think is fun. Maybe some people think inventory is fun. I don't know, but
And I think that's really an important thing for everybody who's involved in either starting a business or running a business to hear is that, if you're spending more than 50% of your time on other things, that's expected.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily, running the bake shop or the little gift shop or the graphic design firm or whatever it is, that there's all those kind of back office things that go into getting your name out there and running the business and finances and HR and all those other things.
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of realized that, I got into it because I wanted to help stepmoms but in order to help stepmoms, you have to do all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. Right. So you're still doing what you set out to do. Mm-hmm. It's just that you've got all this other stuff that goes along with it,
So when you started the business, how did you kind of get your name out there? How did you let people know that you were here, you weren't an imposter, and this was a website that they should go to for content?
I'm still doing it. Yeah, I mean, I started with my personal networks, mm-hmm. and I started social media accounts, of course, and sent emails begging my friends and family to start following me and to share the word with, any stepmoms that they knew, and they did, which was great. And then I really, I tried to do a lot of kind of strategic hashtagging on social media, and I had to learn something called SEO, search engine optimization, which is how to kind of populate your posts with different keywords that Google will find interesting. So it will rank your site when people search for different things. That was something I had no idea even existed. And, so it really has been a process. And then, I also try to take advantage of as many opportunities as I can to speak in different places, to, write guest articles in different places that will help, raise the brand awareness. But it's
you really got to get comfortable with putting yourself out there.
Yeah. It's taken a while, but yeah. Yeah, you have to get comfortable with it. I mean, and I was not at all when I started. Now I'm much more comfortable, and I'm willing to hear no, and I'll just put myself out there and ask.
At this point, is the business just you, or do you have anybody else working with you?
It's all me. It's all me.
And what's the vision? Do you want to grow it? Do you want to change it? What do you think it's going to look like?
I do want to grow it. I may, for this custom life, I may keep it just me for a while, because it's so personal and I really feel so much ownership over it. I think with Step Family Magazine, we will try to grow that. Right now it's just Beth and I, but we plan to, start having a staff and have folks that are helping us. And we do have a number of contributors already. And
is that online, or is that online or paper?
It's online. It's a digital magazine. So right now it's a website, and we are going to be growing it out later this year with our first issue of a monthly magazine. So stay tuned. All of that is coming.
So as a business owner, what is something that you learned along the way that you wish you'd learned earlier?
SEO? No, I'm just kidding.
Website formation?
No. I think, you're talking about the online courses and the resources and stuff like that. And I think when I first started, I had a lot of, and I still fight it, to be honest, but I had a lot of shiny squirrel syndrome, where you do have all these online voices saying, hey, I've got this course to teach you how to do this. And you're like, I need to know how to do that. And next thing you know, you've fallen down, a 10-hour rabbit hole of learning how to do something, but not being taught by the best person or the best way or any of that stuff. And I think that I wasted a lot of time trying to learn things. And I should have spent more time researching like the 2 or 3 best courses to take, or like really the 1 or 2 best people to listen to, versus trying to learn all the things. And part of that is just me. I tend to spread myself thin and try to do all the things all the time well, which is not possible.
Yeah.
This was, the learning process was like that for me. I was trying to like pull all the things in and learn all the things. And you don't need to know all the things. You figure out what you need to know, and you learn that. And then you figure out the next thing you need to know, and you learn that. And I think I tried to do too much.
Not surprising, since you said you're a type A personality all the way.
Yes.
So before we end, what advice would you give to somebody who's even thinking about starting their own online business?
Do it. You have nothing to lose. I mean, I think really, if you want to get started, and there are a lot of programs that'll say, hey, start a website for $15. Yes, you can buy a domain for $15 and, start your backend if you know what you're doing. If you don't, you need some help. But you can start a business, particularly an online business, with not a lot of capital. And, I think there are a lot of days that you have to kind of say, okay, I'm going to be brave today and do this scary thing that I'm putting myself out there and really, being vulnerable. But you have to kind of take that leap of faith and be vulnerable and allow yourself to get out there and not care what people think.
I think that's wonderful, inspiring advice. So tell the listeners how they can find you, or how they can find This Custom Life.
Yeah. So thiscustomlife.com. And then I've got, obviously stepfamilymagazine.com. And then anywhere you listen to podcasts, I host the Stepmom Diaries, about to start season 3. So yeah, find me, say hi on social media. I'll talk back. If you've got a step family, DM me and ask questions, whatever.
That's wonderful, Cameron. Thank you so much. This has been an absolutely compelling conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.